This video is an overview of the BoatProvisionVBA program. This program can be used to develop meal plans for an offshore voyage on a cruising boat. The program is initiated by clicking on the Food button in the Custom Toolbar section of Excel. This brings up the main form, the first page of which identifies the location of the files that are used by the program. There are two principal files or Excel workbooks used. One is a recipe workbook, such as this one. The others are the menu plans themselves, or menu file workbooks. And this is an example of one of those. Basically, the recipe workbooks are repositories for various recipes that you plan to use on a voyage. The menu workbooks are the actual meal plans for that voyage. So let's start. We'll start with I have a menu book. I call it Bermuda Back and Back. And when I click now on the Voyage tabs, here's the parameters of the voyage that I have established in this workbook. I've established a departure and destination, New Bern, North Carolina to Bermuda and return. I've defined that there are 4 legs on this voyage. And then down in the voyage leg information section, I have defined each of those legs. The first leg is from New Bern to Beaufort, North Carolina, with 1 day, 2 crew on board, and a layover of 2 days at the destination. The second leg is from Beaufort to Bermuda, 5 days on the leg, 2 crew, and a 4-day layover in Bermuda. The third leg is the return to Beaufort with another 2-day layover in Beaufort. And the final leg is from Beaufort back to New Bern. So having defined the voyage, now I can develop the meal plans for each meal on each day of each leg of the voyage, and I do that on the menu page. Here I have established a menu, a meal plan, I should say, for the entire voyage. So it starts out with leg 1, day 1, and the breakfast on that meal, which I have entered in down here in the menu plan section. The items in the meal plan can come from the recipes, which I would establish here, and I can use several different recipe workbooks to create that. And here are some of the recipes that are in that one workbook. I can also add items to the meal plan that are not a recipe, such as beverages and other items that don't really require preparation or or any cooking time. So once you've established all of the meals, then you can go to the print page and actually print out the menus for the entire voyage. Now, to populate those menus, we'll need a lot of recipes. And here's when you open one of the recipes files on the files page, the recipe create edit page becomes accessible. So here are all the recipes I have in this one workbook. I can now edit them, change the instructions if I have included those, change the ingredients list, add to it or edit it, change the amounts. Or I can create a whole new recipe just by entering the name of this new recipe and now Now the Add Recipe button becomes active, and I can define that recipe. I can select what the target meal is and what the category of this recipe, and then how many servings the recipe provides. The target meal and recipe categories are used to filter the recipes when you're working with a workbook that has a large number of recipes in it. It just cuts down the number of recipes. If you're just looking for recipes that are appropriate for breakfast or egg dishes or chicken dishes, you can select down the recipes in that way. The serving count is used to build a provision list and an ingredients list for the recipe based on how many servings you're really going to do in a meal plan. So if I said this recipe serves 4, but in fact we had a crew of 6, then in the provisioning list, the program would attempt to extrapolate the ingredients, the amount of the ingredients required to develop the entire provisioning list or shopping list. There's also options that specify that you can't scale this down so that it doesn't generate inappropriate amounts. With a list of recipes, we can also print those recipes out if we wish. We can either print all recipes, that is, all recipes that are recipe workbooks that are in the active folder, or just select one of them, print all the recipes in it, and with any other option it will print all the recipes in that workbook, or I can just select one I want to print out. Well, that's a brief overview of the Boat Provision VBA program.